20 years. Just let that sink in for a second. Did you know there can literally be up to a 20-year difference between the chronological age printed on your ID and your body's true biological age? According to the fascinating research of leading gerontology and cardiovascular disease expert Professor Dr. Ahmed Akil, getting older is absolutely not just about flipping calendar pages. We're kicking things off with this mind-blowing scientific fact because this massive gap between your chronological and biological age, well, it can completely redefine how you experience the rest of your life.
So what does this gap actually mean? Chronological age versus biological age essentially boils down to one crucial thing, and that is vascular aging. From the wrinkling of your skin to the declining function of your heart and other organs, it is all directly tied to the aging of the tiny capillaries feeding those areas. Simply put, biological aging equals vascular aging. This means if you commit to healthy aging practices, an 80-year-old can literally achieve the vascular health and the body of a 60-year-old. Bridging that 20-year gap means you're basically gaining nearly a whole extra lifetime of vitality.
Welcome to this explainer, where we're going to decode the holistic anatomy of aging. We're going to break down exactly how you can turn that immense biological potential into your everyday reality. It's going to be a really fascinating journey. We're starting deep within our microscopic blood vessels and zooming all the way out to everyday home ergonomics and even how artificial intelligence is stepping into the picture.
Here is our roadmap for today. We'll be moving through 1. Biological age and vascular health, 2. The physical and sensory effects of aging, 3. Ergonomic and safe home design, 4. The use of color and light in spaces, 5. Loneliness and psychological support, and wrapping up with 6. Artificial intelligence in elderly care.
All right, let's jump right into Section 1, Biological Age and Vascular Health.
So gerontology, which is the comprehensive science of aging, proves that growing older isn't merely a medical event. It's way bigger than that. To achieve a truly peaceful and healthy later life, we can't just stare at biology under a microscope. We have to look at the whole picture: economic, social, cultural, environmental, architectural, and psychological health. It's like a giant puzzle. It requires us to actively manage how our vascular system interacts with our entire environment and lifestyle in a completely holistic way.
Which leads us nicely into Section 2, the physical and sensory effects of aging.
As we age, our bodies inevitably go through specific physiological changes. You know the basics: muscle mass and grip strength noticeably drop, joints get weaker, and sometimes tremors begin to appear. Also, due to a natural loss of neurons in the central nervous system, our reaction times just get a bit delayed. But here's what's really wild to me: how our senses physically change. For instance, the transparent fluid filling our eyes actually loses its clarity over time and turns a yellowish hue. Think about that. It drastically alters your visual perception, meaning you suddenly need much stronger, brighter lighting just to see the world normally.
Now, knowing all that, let's look at Section 3, Ergonomic and Safe Home Design. Because older bones become more fragile and muscle strength decreases, the risk of serious injury from just a simple everyday fall skyrockets. Our home architecture absolutely has to adapt to these physical limitations. Think about actions like sitting down or standing up from a chair. An older individual relies heavily on pulling and holding movements, meaning they're shifting their entire body weight onto the furniture. So we have to implement environmental solutions. We're talking ergonomic seating, sturdy grab bars in bathrooms and stairwells, and entirely non-slip floors to safely support these everyday movements.
Now, according to the guidelines from Osbe Health Cabin, securing a safe and independent life at home comes down to a few really practical steps. Step 1. Secure all carpets with non-slip tape, literally a lifesaver. Step 2. Strategically add those grab bars wherever balance is most needed. Step 3. Use medication trackers and pillow organizers so nothing gets missed. And finally, Step 4. Maintain a balanced diet paired with light exercise. Put together, these steps don't just keep you physically safe, they guarantee you can maintain continuous, independent daily activity.
Let's move on to Section 4, the use of color and light in spaces.
Remember how we talked about the eyes changing? Well, as people get older, their eyes become highly sensitive to light, and specifically to glare. Because of this, flat, matte surfaces must always be chosen over glossy ones for floors, walls, and ceilings. Glossy finishes might look sleek, but they reflect light in a way that causes severe glare and can actually completely destroy a person's depth perception. So, to prevent dangerous visual confusion and lower the risk of falls, matte surfaces are an absolute must for interior design.
And color selection is another brilliant example of how biology dictates our design needs.
Because of conditions like cataracts and that yellowing of the eye's lens we mentioned earlier, older individuals find it incredibly difficult to distinguish cold colors on the spectrum. I'm talking about blues, greens, and purples. This loss of depth perception makes even simple things like grabbing objects much harder. Therefore, designers need to step in and use high-contrast, balanced color combinations to clearly separate objects from the floor, and at the same time, they need to actively avoid highly saturated, stressful reds or yellows.
That brings us to Section 5, Loneliness and Psychological Support.
Here's the crucial takeaway. A perfectly designed, ergonomically flawless, and beautifully lit home means absolutely nothing if we ignore the psychological landscape of aging. A really comprehensive study from Suleiman Demirel University reveals a truly surprising fact. Get this, emotional and social loneliness is actually higher among older men, those with lower education levels, and interestingly, married individuals. Contrary to what you might think, simply being married does not automatically shield you from feelings of deep isolation in old age.
That same research data highlights another fascinating insight. Now, it's probably no surprise that a low income and a lack of social security lower overall life satisfaction. But there's another major factor, a lack of social media use. The data clearly shows that when elderly individuals living at home do not use social media, or if they fail to use it safely and consciously, their overall life satisfaction drops significantly. It's a huge connection to the outside world.
So to combat this isolation, especially if you're living in socially fragmented, fast-paced megacities, we have to be proactive. Experts suggest we should actively utilize religious and cultural holidays as vital opportunities for community gathering and connection. Places of worship and community centers are perfect for this. Beyond that, actively encouraging hobbies and introducing emotionally grounding activities, like pet therapy, which is amazing, are literally some of the most powerful tools we have to build a strong psychological support network.
Let's head into our final part, Section 6, Artificial Intelligence and Elderly Care.
Let's see how future technology builds upon all these physical and psychological foundations we just covered. AI and gerontology are no longer just sci-fi concepts, they are actively shaping elderly care right now. Interdisciplinary teams, mixing computer engineering and clinical medicine, are using artificial intelligence for the early detection of physical ailments like knee osteoarthritis. And even more impressively, AI is powering smart monitoring systems to track obesity risks and age-related picky eating behaviors. These behaviors might seem minor, but they can severely impact sleep and overall health, so catching them early is a game changer.
However, researchers stress one absolutely core principle when developing these advanced technologies. Elderly individuals should be the subjects of design, not the objects. This is so important. When creating smart home systems, AI, or robotic aids, older adults cannot merely be passive test subjects that technology is just applied to. Their voices, their specific needs, and their lived experiences must actively lead the design process from start to finish.
To wrap this all up, qualitative research conducted in the Eastern Black Sea region showed that almost all surveyed elderly individuals deeply regretted not preparing for this stage of life much earlier. Aging shouldn't be seen as a burden, guys. It's a stage of incredible wealth and knowledge and experience, but only if we actually prepare for it. So I'm going to leave you with this final provocative thought. You cannot change your chronological age on your ID, but is your home, your environment, and your mind truly ready for your biological age? Thanks for joining us for this explainer, and as always, keep learning.